Welcome, everybody, to the No Fluff, No Gimmicks, Raw, Unfiltered podcast for entrepreneurs, specifically real estate investors. We are the Golden Ticket Podcast. I'm your host, Jesse Davis, and all the way from downtown Palm Beach, Florida, the land champion of the world, Jason
Ooh, I like that intro. It makes
Cuero.
me feel so
But you
special.
are,
Hello,
dude.
my
You're a
friend. Nice
badass.
to see you again.
You too, man. So
How's the
what's
week
going
going
on?
over there?
Man, it's good, buddy. Just making some calls and trying to get some rhythm going. I actually did meet a girl from the event that, or not meet her, but she was from the Logan Fulmer's event for the
Yeah.
tax delinquent distress prop. Actually, she is not too far from me, so we've been talking, but
There
she's
you
pretty cool.
go.
She's actually in the program, the coaching program.
Potential
So
love connection, if you don't mind me asking, or
you
just
know, she,
purely
she's married, so I think
fun?
that's gonna be a
Oh,
I think she's
yes,
married,
that
so
is
I think that might be a problem. Yeah, yeah.
stay
So,
away.
yeah. So, but yeah, it's good, man. I love connecting with
Yeah.
anybody. I love network. I love talking about this stuff because this is a lonely business. Do you
Uh,
agree?
yeah. Oh,
Super
without a
lonely, dude.
doubt. Without a
If you
doubt. I
find
went into the
someone
real
that's
estate.
like you, go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, no, no. I was gonna say I had to go to the real estate office today just to have some bodies floating around
Mhm.
because it's kind of lonely.
It is, yeah. It is. It is long. There's nobody else doing this business that's typically around you. Like
Yeah.
if you meet someone doing a real estate, and it's very very rare. I mean, I've hardly ever met anybody just in my neighborhood or in my
Oh
community
yeah.
that's actually doing it. But
Yeah.
but yeah. So our topic today, guys, is how to get started. And I'm sure this
It's a
has
big
been
one.
talked about a million times. But you know what? We've done it and we got started, and we can tell you guys exactly different ways to get started,
Yeah.
and a lot of times it's just what works best, you know, for your personality, but also your budget and your time, because everyone's different. Don't compare yourself to others who have a bunch of money or a bunch of time, or vice versa. But so what do you think? How did you get started? Let's start with that. What did
Well,
you do?
it's funny, just kind of like as a preface even to that, I feel like at least me, I'm always asking people, especially if they're in the biz, I'm like, how'd you get started? You know,
Hmm.
just generally speaking, I'm wondering if they stayed the course of how they initially started and now they're so uberly successful because they stayed the course or did they figure something out? Like I'm looking for a hack always. So, it's funny when we're having this topic and I'm so afraid that this is one of these topics that we can go down so many rabbit holes that I'm going to just hold myself back from that. But to answer
Yeah.
your question, how I got started, that's a good question. But now, are you asking me how I got started specifically, like from a
Like
marketing
in real
standpoint?
estate. Well, I mean, like I know you were a realtor.
Still
But
am.
how did you? Yeah, you are. Yeah, but how did you get started? Like, how did you get started in the lane? I know you took Joe McCall's,
Yeah,
course. You did
yeah.
that, but like, what was it intrigued you about the land, and then what was your first step in that direction? Like, you listened to
Yeah,
some podcasts, YouTube videos, or what?
sure, sure. Well, listen, you know, how I got into it was specifically, I'm like, I want to make a lot of money.
Mhm.
And I know real estate, just the overall umbrella, you could say real estate and you think, my God, you can make a ton of money. You're not going to make a lot of money just being a real estate broker or a real estate agent. You can, but just it's not mind numbing. And what had happened was, I was traveling with Carl and the baby at the time, and we were in Portugal, and I was listening to different podcasts in my Bose glasses during the daytime, walking around. And that's how initially I came across Joe McCall, and I started listening to like literally 4 or 5 hours a day when we'd be walking.
Mhm.
And I heard as many YouTube interviews, and it opened up the door for so much that was out there. I said, when I get back, I'm going to start this. I came back, I got started, I took the course, knocked out the course in probably a week, and crickets. What do I do now? So how do I get started? Literally, my friend, if I tell you that I've done everything from SMS to cold calling to my favorite, which is direct mail. And I was I gotta say, I was successful getting a deal done in every channel, whether it was SMS or whether it was cold calling or whether it was direct mail. But I stayed with direct mail. For me and my choice, it was direct mail did all the heavy lifting. Yes, I know it's an expense, but the reality of it is it's when you're sleeping. You can't be on the phone without burning out for more than 2 or 3 hours a day. Yeah, you can get a deal. You and I both know we've spoken about it. We've done deals. We can get a deal. Cold calling. Yes, you can get a deal. SMS. Texting. The problem was, it seems as though someone's got control over when and how much you can text. And then the reality of it was, I felt like the demographic target audience of the age just wasn't there. So I got into direct mail hardcore. And whether it was postcards, whether it was neutral letters, whether it was blind offers, it all works. It all works. And what was happening was, I would spend just quick round numbers. I'd spend 1,000, 2,000 bucks, and within 6 to 8 weeks, that $2,000 investment, on average, I was making 8, 10,000 at the most. So then I figured, okay, if I can do 3, 4,000, does that mean I can do 15 to 25,000? And slowly the wheels started turning. And I would say for the past 6 to 8 months, I've literally just been direct mail and then watching as many, still to this day, as many YouTube individuals that are inland that are doing direct mail to hear and pick up a little golden nugget of information just to fine tune it. And it's just, don't get me wrong, Jesse, you and I know this. It's not like I'm killing them dead, but the one thing I know is that direct mail works. Yes, it's costly, but it works. I've got no
Yeah.
regrets. I love the fact that it's doing most of the lifting for me, even from a back end office. And please jump in, brother, if you want to add anything. I'm just
I
giving.
mean, do you feel like you're the type of person that you take action pretty quickly, or are you more you were trying to learn everything first and you kind of,
Yeah.
you know what I mean?
Yeah, I've evolved over time where I used to be, well, I want to know everything about it before I do anything. And then I've heard just enough of the successful people. They're like, you're missing out. You're missing out. You're gonna learn more just messing everything up and, you know, trial by fire,
Mhm.
by just doing and then figuring out what does and doesn't work, which is kind of been fairly accurate. You know,
Yeah.
I'll get the deals under contract, and within 2 weeks, 3 weeks, know that I gotta release this deal. This is never gonna be worth anything. But then in a future scenario, I'll completely pivot and avoid that pitfall by making sure I ask certain questions or making sure that I market it in a different way, whether
Mhm.
putting it in certain Facebook groups or whether bringing it to some back channels of investors, that will say, hey, bring me all the deals in this zip code so that, there've been plenty of scenarios. I've done deals that have never been on the market super fast.
Oh wow! And so I
Yeah.
think that's something you got to talk about too. That you're talking about, which is really good, is that you chose something that worked for you. You tried different ones, but the mail worked for you because it worked for your lifestyle,
Yeah.
and maybe it's a little bit more expensive, but they are incoming leads. So inbound leads, guys, are way better. I think it's more of a hybrid, honestly.
Yeah.
It's kind of like a disruptor. You're disrupting them, but they're calling you at least.
Yeah.
Um, but you got to find out what works for you and what you like to do. If you don't like to do it, then you probably shouldn't do it. I liked mail. I did mail at first too. With the land, I did before that. I was in the houses. I cold called. I texted. I liked it because yeah, it was easy. We're going to talk about that too, because I want you to talk about, we're going to talk about the different things that you need or you could have. This are our suggestions as far as CRMs, texting platforms, cold call dialers. So talk about the few things just real quick,
Yeah,
what you use for mail.
sure. Yeah, and that's true. I think there's a hack for each one, whether you're texting, whether you're calling, or whether you're doing direct mail. And a lot of people don't know that. They think, well, if you just do it this one way, it's going to work. And that's not the case. So for me, direct mail, let's cut straight to the chase. You want a lot of phone calls, or you want a lot of people calling you back. Well, you're not going to send blind offers because, let's face it, your pricing strategy can be off, and more than anything else, they may not
Have you
be.
ever tried blind offers?
I have, I have, I
Okay.
have, I have, and I've measured it
Tell
up.
them what blind offers are, because some
Yeah,
people don't
sure.
know what
For
that means.
people that don't know, it's exactly how it sounds, which is it's a general inquiry into whether or not you might be interested in selling your land. And if you are, here's how much I'm willing to pay. The reason why that's great in and of itself is because it sets the precedent for this is how much this would-be investor is willing to buy. But you want to know something? And I bet you didn't know this, my friend. Blind offers are really going to be a lot better when you're dealing with bigger parcels. And if you do what they call range price blind offer, at least it's almost as if the fish bites on the chum or the bait to say, ooh, wait a second. They say they pay between this, and that'll get them calling. If you try doing blind
Hmm.
offers on 1 acre properties, it's going to be hard to really pin them down because
Hmm.
unless the pricing is homogeneous, where it's across the board, they have the pick of the litter, and you're going to have to
Hmm.
hit them at the right time uh, for them to accept that offer.
So what do you use for your, how do you pull your data? So you got to get data somewhere, guys, to be able to
Yeah,
send the owner's name, the acreage,
yeah,
all that stuff.
sure. Well, I used to use Priced again. So now if you're on a budget, Priced, PRYCD. And neither, I know I'm not an affiliate of Price, and I know you're not, but if anyone wants to check it out, you can Google them.
I've used
Price
them
is going to
before.
be,
That's what I started off with. I like them.
yeah, it's not bad. It's not bad. Um, but then again, you learn during the process, um, for what they were charging for the
Hmm.
records, and I don't know the exact amount. I was getting it for the same amount, a little bit less, when it was bundled into the CRM. So, as you know, I'm using FreedomSoft. So with FreedomSoft, I can pull a list, and the list is right there. So I don't have to go
Oh,
to another.
so you pull your list from FreedomSoft now. I didn't know that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I've been doing
So
that
guys,
for.
freedomsoft.com, and I've used FreedomSoft for a year and a half until I changed my model. But I love FreedomSoft. There's so many things you can do within there, and it's very user friendly. I
Yeah,
was paying about $200 a month
yeah, same,
for mine. So,
same. So yeah, so I'm pulling the lists through
and that's free
FreedomSoft.
data that you pull from there. It's free. It's included in
Uh,
your $200.
yeah,
It
yeah,
is really. I did
yeah,
not know that. That's
yeah, yeah,
incredible.
yeah.
Because that's a lot,
So
guys. That's a lot of money. Because I was using DataTree, which is a little bit cheaper on pulling data than Price. Because Price was like 7 cents a record, I think,
yeah,
maybe a little bit more.
you
But
know, DataTree's got the industry and everyone fooled that their information is the best.
yeah, I know. It
You know
it
what I
was six
mean?
cents a record, and they made you do a subscription. You had to do a year, which I didn't like. This like, why are you making me pay for a whole year? What if I change my mind? Like, I'm paying you guys like it was like it ended up being like you get to pay at least I think it was $300 a month, but it was you got so many. But it came out to 6 cents a record, but I ended up canceling and not. I think I owed them like 2 more months, and I just was like, I changed my credit card. I'm like, why y'all? It's like I want to cancel. I do not want to do this. I'm not using this anymore.
Yeah,
Anyways, but you need to you got to have a data provider, so you got to find it some way. And what he's doing is fantastic because It's a CRM plus you get the leads in. I mean,
Yeah,
there's the data right there, which
right
is
there.
fantastic. I
There's
love that.
no having to download an Excel and then import and then
Do you
cleaning the
do you
field.
feel like? 'Cause I'll tell you the one thing I learned from land was I did have to pull a list from a prop stream. So a prop stream is another data provider, guys.
Horrible.
Data.
Listen,
I'm gonna tell you something
listen.
real quick. I'm gonna tell you
Go.
something real quick. Priced had went. I was using Price at the time, and they went. No, data tree gives their data to Price. Well, data tree had a leak, like a data leak or something. So they had to close down for. I needed data like they were only closed down for like 2 days or something. I needed data like right then because the guy who was sending SMS he was out. I went to a prop stream and I signed up. I think it's like 10,000 records for $100 a month.
Remember this story.
Anyways, I'll tell you something real quick. Is that priced? So the data I pulled from PropStream, the amount of records I got about like I don't know 8,000. I went whenever Price opened back up. I used Price again, typed in the same exact stuff like 0.25 to 100 whatever acres, and I got 17,000 records. I'm like, well, dang. Well, PropStream doesn't have all the data, but I did get a deal from PropStream, so maybe it was a good thing. But anyways, if you guys are on a budget, what he's doing is pretty good. But so do you think in FreedomSoft they have a lot of data? Like when you pull,
Yeah, they
say
do.
they do?
They do. They
Okay.
do. Listen, if you what the one thing, and I won't let you argue with me on this is don't chintz out on the data because the data is
Don't. Mm-mm.
everything.
Because you're gonna waste your money.
Big time. Big
Yeah,
time. It's better to
you're gonna
waste
waste your money.
money on marketing channels to figure out what you feel comfortable doing, but not on the
Yeah.
data.
So I'm Mr. Frugal dude. I've gotten better over time, but I'm so freaking frugal. My friends are like, "Why are you not? You're not gonna buy that, or like it's something silly. I'm not gonna spend my money on." So I get real frugal, but I try to be smart with my in the business. I try to not to be too frugal, but you
Listen,
gotta spend
talk
money, but don't
about
be stupid.
yeah, but talk about frugal, and I'm just gonna tease you, and then we could talk about this off the at one point. I'm really budgeting to get into using. Have you ever heard of Land Insights?
Yes, a friend of mine, he's an investor and he uses that, and I almost signed up for it because it's kind of like Land ID, right?
So it's Land ID, Land Portal, and priced all wrapped up in one. It's pretty pricey. It's five
So
hundred
you can,
bucks a month.
that's right. You can pull data, you can look
Data.
up stuff,
You
you can
could
do everything in one place.
it's
Yeah.
got this thing called the Genie, which lets you know based on the amount of sold data what the probability of
Hmm.
sales taking place in the area. They've got a lot. I've been watching those guys real, methodically. It's the way to go. I can get rid
Cool.
of. Go ahead. We're gonna ask me.
I was saying no, I said that's awesome. Yeah, that's
Yeah,
cool.
yeah, yeah.
It can get rid of a lot of stuff. But you got to
Lot.
keep Freedom Soft, right? You
I'm
have to
gonna
have
keep
Freedom
Freedom
Soft.
Soft. I gotta keep Freedom
Got to
Soft.
keep. What about is it as much data as you want for $500, or you got it, or is it you
Uh,
don't know?
Good question.
Okay.
Well, you know what the thing is. At the end of the day, you still have to do the downloading of the data,
Mm.
and I think it's like 6 cents a record, something like that.
Gotcha. Okay, they are charging per record.
Yeah.
So the guy that I know, he's in our group actually, our WhatsApp group. He was using that, and he was saying he liked it because you could evaluate the land super fast, and you could get an offer over. So I was like,
Exactly.
you must be texting. He was doing SMS. Like you must be texting, like trying to get a lot of offers a day. But he did really well last year. Honestly, I was kind
Yeah.
of jealous. He made like 400 or 500,000, and he spent like 33 to get it. And I
Ooh.
was, sometimes you wonder. I was asking everybody last year. I was asking everybody, how much did you make, and how much did you spend? 'Cause I want to know the margins. I hate when people don't tell me the margins. That
Yeah, I
just
know.
first
Just
we talked
say
about
it.
that last time. Talk about that last time. That just pisses me off. Makes me mad.
Yeah.
I just cannot stand it.
Yeah.
But
I,
anyways, and this might be a two-part episode because I have a lot of stuff I want to talk about,
yeah.
and I know I don't want to push these too long. You got to give your baby girl a bath. That's
Yeah,
very
no, I'd
important,
say
man.
just looking at my timeline here, I'm like right
Yeah, you got
around
about
six,
10
seven
minutes
minutes.
left.
Yeah,
Okay,
but
so
let's just stay on this topic. Yeah,
you talked about land. We're talking about. I'm gonna have one more thing. I want to talk about what I'm doing, and then we can talk about other stuff. You are doing that with FreedomSoft. You're saying, hey, Lane Insights might be another option for you because they have more things, which is cool.
yeah,
And I can say, hey, there's a guy that is doing it who's successful. So if you guys want to get us started, you can do FreedomSoft and pull some data. Might
yeah,
be the easiest way to get started, wouldn't you say? Probably
yeah.
$200 a month. It's a great CRM. You can text, you can call from it. They have
Yeah,
workflows.
yeah.
I used to blow those workflows. I used to have tons of workflows, like
Oh God. Yeah, and let
dude,
me tell
like
you, Jesse,
following up and all that stuff.
that's what I have my VA. All I do is one button, and all of a sudden there's like I've got a
Yep,
13-step workflow for
exactly.
one kind of lead, and then I
For
box
warm
it.
ups and stuff.
Yeah, it's great.
Warm follow ups. And we can talk about if you guys have questions about that, you can always go to our website and ask about it, or you can find me on social media. But anyways, so I think that's the best way to go. $200.
For
You're
sure.
all set up with mail. I want to talk about kind of what I'm doing because there's a few things I want to talk about next time. SMS. There's cold calling. There's driving for dollars. There's door knocking, and even door knocking land even.
Yeah, no, I know. I know you
I
laugh
started
about it.
laughing when I wrote. No, I started laughing when I wrote that down. I was like, door knocking land.
I
That's
know.
hilarious. But for houses, guys, or probate and PPC is a big one right now,
Oh,
guys. And I can
that's
tell
all
you,
you.
about that because I did sign up for a course, spent a lot of money. But anyways, so we'll talk about that next time. But what I'm gonna talk about, kind of what I'm doing, and I think it's the easy way to get us started for literally nothing. I spend about Dude, I spend probably $100 a month on my business. Like, I don't have any VAs though. I'm just by myself.
Yeah.
So pulling government list, I think, is really easy. People feel like it's kind of hard to do. Like they're always asking me, "Why'd you get that list?" I'm like, you just have to know who to ask. It's real simple. So there's a few lists you want to pull if you're starting out. Tax delinquencies is really important. You got to go to your tax assessor or tax collector, website. Go to property taxes. There's going to be something there talking about delinquent taxes, and you want to click on that. Usually, they have it set up to where if it's a big county, like a metro area, they have it set up to where it's really easy to pull the data. In Florida, it's really easy. I'll pull some data there. You can pull it from the website. You can put in filters. But over here in Texas, you have to actually you have to email them and they'll send it to you. Sometimes they'll actually charge you. Harris County charged me $50 for a freaking CD-ROM. I'm like, and I asked them like, why is this $50? This is free data. Oh, that's just what we charge. I'm like, what? Okay, whatever.
Yeah.
So I
You
paid it,
should tell
whatever.
people what is a CD-ROM.
Yeah, they don't know what the problem. I didn't have a CD-ROM. I had to order one
Yeah.
from Amazon to plug it in my computer. So
Serious.
a tax delinquent, tax assessor, or tax collector, um, and then you want to filter. What I do, I filter between they haven't paid their. They'll come in a spreadsheet, a big old Excel spreadsheet. Uh, there'll be so much data. There was 250,000 records for Harris County. So, and you got to. Sometimes the data will come nice and clean, and I mean, it'll come, you know, it'll come kind of clean, and sometimes it won't. You got to
Yeah.
kind of know how to work these files or how to work Excel because they actually gave it to me in an Access file. I had to convert it to an Excel, but Google will help you guys with that. But you want to filter when the people who haven't paid taxes 2 years and more. I like if there's a lot of data, 3 years is better. Don't worry about how much they actually owe, but worry about when they haven't paid. That shows a problem. Um, I do the deceased owners, but you don't have to. You just want to do something, just do something simple. I'd probably actually do, if I knew deceased owners, I'd probably do 5+ years, haven't paid, and then I would just do all those. And then so
Yeah.
you can cold call those. You can either get a dialer or you can do what I do. I use benverified.com and I skip trace the address. I do research on the owner, but
Yeah.
these are, if you're not doing deceased owners, you can do a Ben Verified, and then it's $40 a month, and they charge you. It's 100 reports a month, and then I think they charge you after that. I'm not sure how much they charge, but if you
Right.
want to make it even more simple, just to get started, like tomorrow, is to pull the list, skip trace it with directskip.com. That's who I use for a long time.
Yeah.
I think they're like 10 cents a record, but you can buy in bulk, get a little bit cheaper, or go to batch. They're even, batch skip tracing, direct skip. And then get you a dialer. I think a dialer, just start a cold calling. I
Yeah.
like Mojo Dialer. I like them
Ooh,
a lot.
that's a classic.
Back when I was calling, I used Batch before, but I loved Mojo. I think Mojo was just fantastic. And you don't even have to have a CRM, guys. If you can use Mojo as a CRM if you really want to.
Yeah.
Like just to get started. You don't have to like have all the bells and whistles, but pull a list, free list, text, delinquent, filter it, 5+ years, unpaid, and then skip trace that, and then upload that to Mojo and start dialing. Do the triple line dialer where it dials 3 at a time, or do single line. I like single line too because it's kind of a little bit. You're not blast. People might hang up. They might answer. You're on the phone with somebody else, and they're gonna hang up. Be robocall. It is hard to get a hold of people nowadays, though. I've called a lot from my iPhone. I'll use my iPhone now. I'll call from my iPhone, and I send voice memos and text messages, and I'm having a hard time getting a hold of people or people to respond to me. So, just one thing real quick. How much time? Let's see what we got here.
Got a couple
I'll
minutes.
keep talking about the time. Okay, cool. What I was going to do, something new I thought of with these sellers is send videos. Like, hey, what's going on? My name's Jesse. I've been trying to get a hold of you. I'm not a scam, or like just try to like say, hey, I'm a real person. Hey, here's all my kids' toys. Like I'm a dad. I live here in Texas. I'm a normal guy, man.
Yeah,
Look,
yeah.
you know what I mean? Like try to be. So getting started is not hard, guys.
No.
If you don't understand, if you just Google the stuff that we talked about, just go to YouTube and type in a Mojo Dialer, type in how to pull a tax delinquent list. Was not a lot of YouTube videos on that, but if you have questions though, just get a hold of me.
Sure.
But yeah, there's no excuses not to get started unless you really are just scared to get on the phone, which I get that because that was me.
Yeah.
100%, dude. My heart's beating out of my chest. Now, Jason, he's just a natural. He's Puerto Rican and he's from New York. So he's like, he just does not.
Everything, right?
He doesn't give a shit, dude. This guy's like, he's just a beast, man.
Well, listen, can I just add something to what you were saying
Sure.
without us spilling over? You have to pick your strength. You have to double down on your strength. It doesn't make sense if you really don't want to be on the phone. You're going to have to be on the phone at some point, but to get going, you don't need to be on the phone. You can do mail. And if you don't want to do mail, you can do SMS. You can do texting. They all work, Jesse. You know that.
Yeah.
They all work. It comes down to how much money do you have? How much time do you have? And where's your strength? If you can figure out all three, that's where you start. That's it.
Yeah.
Time, budget/money, and strength.
Yeah. Either you got time or money, or you got both. That's cool. But also staying in the game as long as possible, and don't get discouraged. People are gonna cuss you if you're on the phone. God, I think that helps you though, didn't that kind of helps me whenever I would get cussed out or something would. I mean, at first I was like, shit, I don't want to do this anymore. I'm done for the day. But the more it happened to me, your skin gets thicker, and you're like, you know what? I don't care. I'm just trying to call. I'm trying to help you. Help myself too, but I'm trying to help you. It's all. Don't think you're disrupting people.
Yeah, no.
But be polite, and if they stop, they say stop. So I'll tell you one more. That's one thing I do. If people say they're not interested, I used to follow people say I'm not interested. I would follow up with them.
I still do.
Yeah, I did, but I never got any deals from it, and I feel like I was kind of spamming them. So I was like, you know what? But I think with mail it's different because mail they called you. I'm talking about SMS. Right. I'm texting. I'm saying, hey, do you want to sell? Not interested. And I've texted them like 3 other times over the past 6 months. So there's so many leads with SMS, so I wouldn't anymore. But yeah. So if they're not interested, don't there's people they're getting us spammed all the time. So, anyways, but all right, man. So this was a good one, and there'll be a part 2. Do you think so? Another part 2? Okay, cool, awesome.
Let's do it.
Okay,
let's do it. We'll turn this thing around. We'll talk more about some of the stuff you were doing and get 2 sides of the coin on this one.
Sounds good.
Take us home.
So, no, you take us home. Oh, I think it's. Oh, you said you're okay. Hey guys, so we can find us on the Golden Ticket Podcast.com. You can JV with us. There's a form there. Also, if you want to be a guest, you can fill that out as well. You can find me at Jesse Davis REI on IG. You can also find me on Facebook, Jesse Scott Davis. Jason is a hermit. He doesn't want anybody getting a hold of him.
I'll have it next time for you. Okay.
No, you said it's fine. You don't have to. So, anyways, guys, I look forward to next time.
Likewise.
And I'm editing all of our videos tonight, and I will upload them tonight. I promise. This is our 4th episode, correct?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. That's going to be awesome.
Yeah.
And don't forget to put some stuff on social media that is coming out.
Thank you, Dad. I appreciate you for reminding me.
All right, guys. We'll see you next time. Jason, I loved it. Always enjoy it. Jason co-host. Jason Cuero. He's my co-host. Anyways, guys, listen, this will get better. We're just still trying to figure it out. Hey, we're having fun though. That's the main thing. All right, guys. Till next time. Y'all take care and make some money.
Cheers. Bye.